It's time for...
Is it worth it? Let me work it. I put my thing down, flip it and reverse it.
All right, so our buttons that we have is if we think it's worth it, we hit that one. If we don't think it's worth it,
the price is wrong.
All right, we're going to start with my commander deck that I broke down here. This is one I actually might build, not necessarily this commander, but this is Death Toll. Currently, you can get this bad boy on TCG, probably even on Amazon for about the same price. I didn't check Amazon, I just went TCG, but it's $34. So this is pretty cheap. This is the normal-ish price for the decks. I guess they're supposed to be around, what, 40 is where we normally sit?
Yeah.
So this one's a little
40.
bit lower. Let's get to the actual breakdown of what is in this deck. We have two cards that are over $10, and actually they're $10 right on the money. The first one is Professor Onyx, which is from the Strixhaven. I didn't realize it was a $10 card, but it is. And the other one is Whip of Erebos. So those are my two cards that are at $10 a piece. Then there's about, let's see, there's 12 total. Oh, I have it on there. 12 total cards that are between 2 and 10. But really the notables I want to talk about is Dryad Arbor is in this. God, I always say her name wrong every time. Is it Titiana? Whatever her name is. Nature's Force. Can you hit the button for me? The reading. Titania.
What?
You can't even read.
Titania. Is that how you say her name?
What?
She can't
Want to try again?
I even was trying before we even did. Like when I wrote it, I was like, "How do I say it?" All it makes me want to do is stutter. Like
They have AI for this now.
Titania.
If we just type it in, it'll just say it wrong or right. It doesn't matter because that's the computer at that point.
So the Nature's Force, Renin 7 is in this. Reanimate and Arachnogenesis. So those are the ones that are like, they're the notable ones. And there's 7
Is
others.
Renin 7 the 5-mana planeswalker?
It is the green one. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
So your total with the cards between 2 and 12 is $46, which brings you to a grand total of $66. So that's pretty good. I mean, but the thing is, and we're going to say this on every one of these decks, all these prices, like, because they're at that, they're going to drop. They're going to take. To give you an idea, we did this with, it wasn't the last one. Was it Modern Horizons 3 was our last? No, it's Bloomburrow. We did Bloomburrow, but let me back it up to Modern Horizons 3. Those were more expensive. I buy listed a bunch of that stuff away, and the bulk stuff that we had priced at, let's say $5, I was only getting like $2 at most, so you cut the prices at least in half for some of this stuff. But currently, that's what the prices are.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the new cards. I mean, that's good on price. It's 66. It costs you 34.
Right.
Technically,
I mean, basically the way I don't look at it as really getting the value. I get it. Another way I look at it, I do look at it as getting value, but another way to look at it is what you're spending your money on. And if you don't have to spend the money on Beast within it, $1.50, $2, you're saving yourself money if you just have them laying around. So that also helps like, do you want to buy this deck or not when you have most of these cards, or do you want to add a lot of the stuff to your collection? So
yeah,
that's something that you personally have to
decide,
balance if it's worth it for you.
And we've talked about this many times, especially recently. Part of buying sets, and we used to always buy the commander decks. Always. We just mentioned that a couple weeks ago.
But they only came out once a year.
So now that they're every single set, it's like, okay, more bulk that I already have. Okay, how do I move this stuff? That's work to move it for me. I have a lot. Oh, good for me. Do I have that? I do.
Oh, good for you.
I have a lot of this stuff.
Oh, good for you.
So it becomes more work than going into decks. I have enough copies for, like you said, Beast Within I don't need 20 copies of that. So anyways, all right, let's get to the new cards in this. Will this change your mind with stuff? So here's the one card. Well, we'll get to that first. We'll work our way left to right. There is one card in here. This is the commander I actually want to build, but One of the new cards is Into the Pit. It is 2 colors and a black enchantment. You may look at the top card of your library anytime in a black card. That's pretty sweet. And then you may cast spells from the top of your library by sacrificing a non-land permanent in addition to paying its other costs. So it's, in a way, it's a free sack outlet hoop you have to jump through. Because, I mean, you can't sack it and then not do anything. I think the way I'm reading it is, to cast that spell, part of its cost is sacrificing a creature or it's a non-land permanent. So anything that's not a land you can sacrifice, but you can't just be like, you have something that depends on, let's say, Grave Pact. Depends on your creatures dying. You can't just sacrifice that and go, well, I'm not casting anything off the top. I think you actually have to cast it. It's part of the spell's cost.
Yeah, it's part of the cast.
But in a way, that's a free spell, or not free spell, a free sack outlet. So
yes,
you're able to do that with a little bit of a hoop, which is a benefit because you get to cast.
I think
off
that's
the
a
top.
really cool card, though.
Yeah. So for 3 and in black, you've seen this in blue, you've seen this in green. I don't remember if there's anything with black that has that, but I really like that.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So and it's card advantage, in a way you're being able to play that. So. So like
especially if you're in a deck that's going to make a ton of tokens, then you can just sacrifice those tokens and gain more tokens, probably.
Well, and this is what I say is this goes in any sacrifice deck where that's the whole point of the deck. This will go in my Braids deck potentially because it is non-land, so that's how Braids works. Well, actually, you can sacrifice land in that one, but anyways, all right. So then we have Rend Maw Creaking Nest. Really quick, I thought we had a new Scarecrow Lord, but no, we don't. It is a Scarecrow, but 3 colors, a black and a green. It's just a Scarecrow, legendary artifact creature, menace, reach, 5/5. When it enters and whenever you play a card that has 2 or more card types. So like, where we go? The next card we talk about is an enchantment creature. This would work there. So anytime you cast something like that, or when this enters, you create a 2/2 tapped black bird creature token with flying. That token or the tokens are goaded for the rest of the game. So
each player gets one of those.
Every player gets a 2/2 blackbird token with flying that's goaded, including yourself. And basically, they don't hurt you until you're the last 2 players going against you or going against each other. Otherwise, these are just constantly you're making 2/2s that are out in play, and you can. I think this would be kind of fun to build around. I mean, a 2 type, what is it called?
It's kind of cool, yeah.
2 card type deck. I think this one would be kind of fun to play with.
You got mostly artifact creatures and enchantment creatures. And then does it have to be a creature? A card.
No,
so you have the artifact enchantments from Theros block that can kind of work out there too. But that's kind of mostly it. That's gonna help you.
So like Urza's Saga would work here pretty good.
No.
It doesn't say cast, it says play.
Oh, it does say play, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
All right. That would work. Right.
Get the fuck out. All right, and then the last card I want to talk about is Demolisher's Spawn. This is quite the high CMC, but it is 5 and 2 green for a 7/7 trample with haste. And then whenever it attacks, if there are 4 more card types and among cards in your graveyard, other attacking creatures get 4/4 until end of turn. I don't think it's going to be an expensive card. I just thought it was kind of a cool card to have in there, especially this guy has haste on it too. So it's not going to...
Yeah.
If you don't want to play Crater Hoof all the time and Crater Hoof's the way you win, this is just another way. Oh, what I wanted to add is if you have a way of doing multiple attacks, every time you attack with this guy, all your other creatures get 4/4. So you attack with him, you get a second attack phase. Yeah. They get 4/4. They get a 4/4. So if you're able to put it in a deck that has multiple attacks like that, I think this thing's perfect in that. It kind of works. What is that one from? Is it Primitive? That enchantment that doubles the power and toughness of your creatures on every attack step. What is that one? Is it Primitive?
It's like 4 green and a colorless.
Yeah.
Primal something or other.
Yeah, Primal. Yeah. So I think that one does a similar thing because I have that in my Ansrag deck, so that every attack, every multiple attack gets bigger and bigger. So,
Okay.
But yeah, okay. All that being said, Lowry, we had the total of $66 of value of reprinted cards. These
Do we want to be talking about the face commander at all, or nah?
I have it in my next one.
You can. Oh, I didn't. Okay. I probably would have wanted to, but.
Okay.
For me, the new cards aren't doing anything for me in this.
So is it worth
Let me work it.
And also with the price, it kind of tells me that there's not a lot of hype behind it. Not saying that it's a bad deck or a good deck, but it means that there's probably nothing that's really up there. Like, we have a lot of different versions of Demolisher Spawn. It's the same effect that you can kind of get, and like, I've played that out in Crater Hoof. Like, I personally don't need anything more than that. I do like Renmaw and I do like Into the Pit, but probably Into the Pit the most. Like, for me, is it worth it or not? Probably not. I'd say no.
Yeah, I think with this one, and that's going to be a lot of these, but this one in particular, the two cards that are $10 are probably going to be $5 cards, if not lower after this. Just talking value wise.
Yeah.
So that price of 66 is probably going to drop quite a bit. For me, I don't think these new cards that I chose, there might be other ones that are maybe better, but for me, these are the ones that I thought were most interesting, and I don't think that these are going to get that expensive. So for me, I'm going singles, and so to buy the deck for me,
the price is
it's not worth it for me. So I'm in the same boat.
I think that's a good way of putting it. Yes.
Hey gang, the best way to support the Commander Smiths is to make sure you slap that like button, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel. Also, check out our online store, commandersmiths.com, where we have metal tokens, mugs, t-shirts, playmats, and more.